Hello, hello. Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Dude, how good is this shit? This music's so fucking sick. Makes me wanna go back in time. Kisses and smooches, everyone. Kisses and smooches. Clickety clackety, they hear me cracketying my voice. Ankle is good, yes, yes. Actually did a bit of a mock jog and I felt pretty good. Which means I like jog 3 steps and it's like, alright, if I ever want to do that, it works. ASMR? Question mark? Oh my goodness, Lils. With 20 buckaroonies right out the freaking gate. It says, yay, you just made my day. Thank you, Lils. Well, you just made my day. Opening up the stream like that, I appreciate that. Isaac, I'm doing good, man. Slept a fuck ton today, that's all I can say. Very sleepy. Sleepy boy. Do I like working late? You know, just years of it, you know, conditioned years of it into my body, my rhythms, my circadian rhythms. Thank you, Brittany. I'll just do a running in place jog right now. Hey, Carrie. But yeah, years and years of just working night shift, and even whenever I'll be on like trips and stuff when we wake up early every day, I'll get back from the trip and then continue to just like stay up till the wee hours of the morning just 'cause. And I don't know. It's your bedtime, Hannah. Who's going to tuck you in? One of your kitties. Venus Flytrap with a 5 says, knew it, let's do this. Oh, she knew. Yeah, I'm such a procrastinator. Procrapinator. I procrastinate my procrapping. Yeah. I need romance novels like Books on Tape. You've got that amazing voice to do it. That will be nice. I could talk about Harambe's first date. Harambe had just met a beautiful, beautiful monkey princess. Sorry, ape. And he was stricken down. He was trying to warn a young child of an impending future, one that only he could stop. But they knew. They knew Harambe. We don't go nowhere, just on trips, tragically hip. I hurt my hip on a trip while I was taking a sip. Hey Joel, did you hear about the chaos with the PS5 that happened today? No, I know that there was some pre-orders and stuff where they were pretty much, booked out the ass right out the gate. But I didn't hear anything other than that, really. I did see Walmart was starting to do pre-orders now that Amazon was sold out, but I know some people were already like trying to scalp, pre-orders on eBay and shit. Mr. Blunt, you're gonna drink some more whiskey and listen to you. Love your videos and I appreciate you putting in the work, and also you're doing great, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm doing my best. Trying my hardest. Need you guys' help. I need you to click that like button. Click share and send it out to Grandma and the gang. so they can get a restful night's sleep. Hey, Catherine. Hello, hello. Talk about Soulja Boy's downfall. What happened to Soulja Boy? Wasn't he on Twitch? Let's see. Soulja Boy. Let's see. Soulja Boy news. Soulja Boy playing Football Manager. Soulja Boy drops new song Link Up. Seems like he's doing alright. I know, yeah, wasn't Soulja Boy playing like old school RuneScape on Twitch? Oh. Soulja Boy, tell him. Oh my goodness. Sugar Mills with the $50 donation says, hey, I just got a job at Gulf Coast Veterinary Specialist after 4 months of being jobless, and I'm working on staying late. I appreciate you. Thank you, Sugar Mills. Appreciate you. Congratulations on getting the job-a-rooney. That's freaking awesome. Get to work with some animals, it seems like. Wait, yeah. Veterinary. Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure it wasn't veterans. Veteran specialist. Get to work with animals. But thank you for the big $50 donation. Holy shit. Yeah, you can hear my cheeks a-clapping. You can hear my cheeks a-clapping, coming down the way. Oh, those donos make my booty twerk. And all they do sway from side to side, side to side, side to side. Clack, 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 clack. You're highly considering calling in sick just to continue listening. Hey, sometimes you just gotta take a sick day to get well with Let's Radio. But also don't take my advice at all. I don't want that to come back to bite you in the balls. Hannah, you're impressing my brain. Thank you. Are you a zombie? You want to eat it? Brains. Brains. Dude, we need a new fucking zombie movie, dude. Like something... Like, I kind of want slow zombies. I don't know about you guys, but I like the atmospheric, like, slow zombies. Where they're like, you know, like from the originals. The original Walking... Not Walking Dead, but like... What's that called? Night of the Living Dead? Jojo and Lila are here. And Marie. But yeah, those old school zombies, I don't know, something about them just feels so much more creepier. Even like one of the atmospheres I loved was Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. I love those ones, and just like the art style for that was so sick. You know, where they've been dead in graves for years, but they just like rise up and they're just disgusting looking. Have I seen Train to Busan? I have. That's a pretty good one, honestly. That's pretty intense zombies there, and it was a pretty good movie. I kind of vaguely forget what exactly happened, but it was. It's fun seeing like. Was that from Korea? Was that a Korean film? Just seeing their interpretation of zombies is pretty sweet. Should I receive notification if I hit the bell? Yeah, yeah, I don't know. There's different layers of hitting the bell. Like you can hit it and then like set it to all, you know, but it's so unreliable sometimes. Have I thought about composing music? I have. I thought about it all the time, and I just like don't really know where to start, you know what I mean? Angela Saber with the 1 buckaroonie. Thank you, Angela. Oh, Jensen, you're streaming too. I'm sorry. I don't mean to blow up your spot here. Yeah, every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. Usually, I don't think there will be one this Sunday because Monday is going to be a compilation video like for the podcast and stuff. Netflix has a new movie called Alive. Interesting. Well, welcome, Your Pants. Nightmare Dreams. What is good? Cody V with the 5s. What is your backstage demand? I always need to have my Schweppes ginger ale ready, or I will be a very cranky boy, and people will get the bamboo spankins. Angela Saber, thank you for the 2. Mood, baby. Mood. We are setting the mood. The spooky mood. And Nick Miracle with a 5. Thank you, Nick. Ben Doherty, hello, my friend. It's good to see you. When am I going to play Among Us with PewDiePie and Corpse? Maybe one day. I wonder how they got together. I guess because, like, I think Corpse is like a few degrees of separation from PewDiePie in regards to his friendship with a boy in a band or whatever. And then that kind of crew. So probably never, because I don't know any of them. I'm not part of the cool kids crew. No. But I would like to play Among Us sometime on Discord if you guys ever want to play that. That would be fun. You got a job at Asleep? Has anyone tried the Canadian dry whiskey beer? So good. I haven't tried that. That sounds yummy. Aura, hello. But yeah, guys, tonight we got 6 highway stories, which is going to be volume 2, I think, of Highway, because there's some previous highway stories. Should be pretty litty and or titty. Thanks, Gordman. Appreciate that. How did I start this channel? You know, you just got to start it. Just pick a day and just start. And just be nice to everybody and hope for the best. Do I have a Discord server? God, I do. Yes, Hannah can, or somebody can link that there. We've been trying to do only invites through the streams, you know, because that way you don't have too many just trolls showing up at random times. And it's just usually people who are earnestly interested and interested enough to show up to a stream and be involved in the community there, and therefore interested in being involved in the offline community over in the Discord, in that offline chat. Venus Flytrap with a 5 says, bet I'll host a Among Us game in the Discord. That'd be sick. That'd be really cool.
Hey, listen.
Stormwave with a 5 says, all the cool kids are becoming VTubers now. Maybe that's how you gotta get in. What's a VTuber? Is that a... I don't think I've heard of that.
Hey, listen.
Hannah Graves says, post-nut clarity equals coming to my senses. Oh, yes. That's what I kind of wish I would have named my meme page on Instagram. Post-nut clarity. I don't think anybody's used that yet. Mr. Blunt, you saved the clip. Nice. Yeah, I wish YouTube had a reliable way to save clips the way Twitch does, because that would be pretty funny. Because then you guys could clip any hilarious shit that happens here, and I can make compilations of them. Oh, Angela with the 2 says sleep center. Oh, okay. I was like, you get a job sleeping. I was like, that's fucking sweet. Well, Corpse Husband, will you ever have Corpse Husband invited on the channel? Yeah, you know, he's been on previous collabs, but, you know, he's a busy guy. Sometimes, you know, it's tough to kind of focus on your own channel sometimes, let alone be on other channels, you know, that don't really get you, you know, as much recognition on the, you know, not, you know, if I were to have him on here, most of you guys have already probably heard him and have subscribed, so it might not be in his interest, you know what I mean, to collab here. A VTuber is a streamer that uses anime characters to represent them instead of a face cam. Hey, maybe that could be me. I guess I kind of have that going on with whenever we go to the reading image that comes up, you can, you know, you got my avatar chilling there. But I guess also, right, it kind of almost like Snapchat, VR's their body or some shit or whatever. Carson Claus, what's up, dude? Welcome, welcome. And Nick Miracle with the 5 says, long-time listener, first-time stalker. Well, welcome. Stalk away, and thank you so much for the 5.
Hey, listen.
And Marie Ruiz with the 5 says, I love you. Thank you, Marie. Smooches and looches. Smoochador. My friends with Mr. Nightmare. I am not. You know, I like him. I like his stuff, but I like it cut, G. But we've never talked before. I deserve every like you've ever. Who's a bad Mama Jamma? Where's Pradeep at? Where is he? Huh. You know, he had snuck out of the room here at some point, so I don't even think he's in here right now, to be honest with you. Puppet says, hello. How is one of the greatest creepypasta readers today? I love watching your content. I'm doing good. Just chilling, down for another stream. I'm going to be recording some highway stories for you guys. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a spooky time. And also, I'm so fucking stoked for Halloween. I don't even know why. Just like, there's something, I think it's more just like the atmosphere, like the cool, like especially around here in the Northeast of the United States. It's just, it's cool. It's relaxed, but it's not too cold yet, you know what I mean? And you know, it's hard to say what the weather will be like actually on Halloween. And then also the fact that I feel like Halloween's pretty much canceled this year because of, you know, the thing that shall be not be named. But either way, I'm going to be watching Halloween Town fucking 24/7 in October. And I also hope to have a lot of content out Halloween related for everybody. So this is going to be our month. Guys, this is our month. It's us. How often do I stream? So yeah, new videos come out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I usually stream Sunday nights, Tuesday nights, and Thursday nights, the night before. Full moon. It's actually a new moon right now, I think, which is where the moon is like resetting. What made me start doing these types of videos? Well, I started off doing, you know, just reading stuff, anything really. And then it evolved into creepypasta once I found that community. And then it evolved into true scary stories because that's what people wanted, and it just seemed to be my little niche, you know. I do have a Discord server, yes. Someone might be able to link that for you. Joel, you cool kid. Thanks, Bruno. Sucks living in DC, horrible traffic, worse than LA. Yeah, I remember driving on the Beltway through DC was like one of the worst fucking like traffic I'd ever seen. And if you missed a exit, it was just like, I don't know, you were screwed. Just complete chaos. No, I did not. Hannah Banana. Highway to Hell is the scariest highway you could take. That's true. You should be asleep, Kayla. Uh-oh. We'll follow the chat and the voice. Oh, I can hear Pradeep screaming and reeing out there. Soon he will be smashing his little body. You were stuck in traffic for a whole last hour. Yeah, it's not fun. I always think like, it's pronounced Halloweeny. I always think like, what if you get stuck in traffic and you run out of gas? Like, does that happen often? You save Halloween videos? Yeah, you need to hang on to those. Larissa, you are right on time. It is time to read. I'm gonna let my kitty cat in real quick so he can find his spot. So let me grab his little body real fast. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Gonna switch up the mood with some Iron Cthulhu. Apocalypse. He's so spooky. So spooky, wooky, yeah. I fucking love this music. This is called Hazy Vision. It's on the YouTube channel Asthenic. I love it. Alright, there's Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. I'm gonna be popping it on here. Fading down to nothingness. Switching to our reading screen thanks to the amazing Robin Mikalsen. You could die to this music. I know, there's some music you listen to where you're just like, you know, this is heaven right here. Alright guys, you ready to do this? As always, pop, lock, and drop it, yes. If you got a story, please do submit them to www.reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial or email it to letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com. Always looking for more stories all the time, so even if you hear a story on here that gets maybe potentially grilled, do not be hesitant to send yours in. I promise to be gentle, I promise. But always need more stories. You guys keep me alive, and I appreciate that. And the chat is getting lit. But, yeah, follow me on Twitter. Twitter is probably one of the best places to follow me to kind of get all the updates. I don't know if Twitter, like, notifies people. Because if the bell doesn't work, you got all these other options. You can always get an update on Discord if you join Discord and you got that running in the background. You can follow me on Twitter at Let's Read Creepy, and follow me on Instagram at letsread.official. The Snapchat. Wouldn't you guys like to know? I feel like Snapchat's a dangerous game. Getting flooded with pee-pee pics. You gotta pour your drink and chill. That's what I like to hear. Horny Computer's the best meme page. That is true. Brittany, thank you for the endorsement. Please go follow it. If we can get to 1,000 followers on there, we will be something to contend with in the meme world. GBN, thank you. Alright. I'm gonna lube my lips. Once again, we got 6 highway stories here. Some people are probably saying, why the fuck don't you just read? Hurry up. We got preparations to do here, guys. Gotta do my jumping jacks, gotta do my mouth stretches. Daddy's snappies. Sean, too much wine. Ruh-roh. Get ready to be astral projected. Was I nervous to start a channel? Yeah, a little bit. But you guys honestly are so positive. Like, all the comments that I get on my YouTube videos are just, like, so positive. And, I don't know. I just feel good about it all the time. And I just appreciate you guys, you know. Really, very seldom do I get much negativity. And, yeah, why don't we have 400 likes, people? Let's go. Click that like button. Alright, so I gotta record 10 seconds of silence before we kick this off, but then we shall be into it, baby. It's story 1. So a few Saturdays ago now, I got a text from my little sister that went something like this. Hey bro, I'm gonna drive up to Granddad's for a few hours to check in on him. I think he's been pretty lonely because of this whole lockdown thing, and I think we should pay him a visit. I know what you're thinking, and don't worry. He has that glad porch built so we can sit in his front garden while we sit inside. Oops. So we can sit in his front garden while he sits inside and we can have a little chat. I'll bring a flash of coffee and some cake for lunch. Are you up for joining me? I was snowed under with work and it had bled into my weekend, so despite the fact that I should have just stayed home, I knew I needed to get out of my apartment for a while. So I agreed to join her. It was unusually nice weather out, even for a British summer, so I thought, why not? Besides, I hadn't seen my granddad in like 2 or 3 months at that point, so I really missed him, and as long as we kept from getting too close to him physically, I didn't see the harm in paying him a visit. So my sister arrives in her beat-up old Volkswagen Golf at around noon, and we start the drive out to our granddad's. We're having our own little catch-up, talking... Talks range from the stuff surrounding the virus to YouTube channels we've been binging since we've been cooped up at home. I recommend Let's Read to her, whoop whoop. All is going well, and I'm using my phone map app to help her navigate, so I've got my eyes glued to my phone screen, whereas she's obviously watching the road. She's a very chatty person, so I did think it was unusual when she stopped talking altogether for a few minutes, but nothing to worry about too much. I just figured she was concentrating. I only realized something was actually wrong when she said something like, "What's wrong with that car?" I look up and ask which one she was talking about. But as I looked, it was obvious which one she was talking about. We're stopped at some traffic lights at this... Oops. Someone's gonna have to keep track of mistakes. I can feel them piling up already. What are you building? A Hatber hood? What's a Hatber hood? Never heard of that. Liz, welcome, welcome. The all-time greatest YouTuber is online. Jojo, we're almost at 5K members. That's pretty wild. We're stopped at some traffic lights as this is happening, and at the head of one of the lines of cars, I see this gray Vauxhall Estate. Oh shit, how do you say this? I think it's Vauxhall. Vauxhall Motors. Let's see. Vauxhall Videos. Shit. All new Corsa from Vauxhall. Fuck. I was kind of hoping for like a YouTube video here. The Vauxhall story.
If you like cars, or even if you don't like cars, Vauxhall has very likely been
Vauxhall? Vauxhall? What am I drinking? I am just drinking some tea that I mixed branch chain amino acids into. Because it makes it taste way better. Hey Dylan, what's up? And I got some water here too. Usually I start off with some tea just to kind of like lube the chords. Lube the chords a bit. Rora, what proposal are we talking about? We're stopped at some traffic lights as this is happening, and at the head of one of the lines of cars, I see this gray Vauxhall Estate. Its entire back window blocked from all kinds of filling the boot. Crap. Its entire back window blocked from all kinds of stuff filling the boot, which is dangerous enough. Haterade. I'm drinking Haterade. Oh my god. I haven't heard that in forever. Monica, welcome, welcome. Its entire back window is blocked from all kinds of stuff filling the boot, which is dangerous enough on its own. But it's also sat there stationary, doing that peep and creep thing you can make a car do from just gently pressing. I feel like I'm already like... It's hot as fuck in here too. I actually disconnected my AC. I don't even know how hot it is right now. What's temperature? It's like almost 60, but the other night it was like 50, which I feel like was like way better. Also, drinking tea probably didn't help. I'll to marry you. Well, I have to see you get on one knee first. But it's also sat there stationary, doing that peep and creep thing you can make a car do from just gently... Ugh. I don't know why this is like a tongue twister for me. Just gently pressing the on... I don't know, why is that hard to say? From gently... Even reading here, make a car do from just gently pressing on the clutch. That's should be way easier to say than it is. But it's also sat there stationary doing that peep and creep thing you can make a car do from just gently pressing on the clutch. At first I just thought it was kind of funny, that it seemed to me like they were just trying to make their boring old dad car bounce like some kind of Compton lowrider, and made a comment to my sister about why this is why dads should put away their Dr. Dre 2001 records after they turn 40. So the light turns green and we start moving again. But the gray Vauxhall at the head of the line next to us just sits there, not moving. So this actually gives me a chance to get a look into the car's front seats and catch a glimpse of the driver. I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe some white dude in wraparound shades lip-syncing to Explosive or something relatively humorous like that, but what I actually saw was anything but amusing. This dude had shades on alright, but the way he was just slumping in the driver's seat, head slopping off to one side, it was obvious that he was drunk. And not just, I've just had a few too many in the pub drunk. I mean, this fella was absolutely bladdered. Like so drunk he looked barely conscious. We hear a few beeping horns as the people behind him are evidently annoyed that he's just sat there, not paying attention to the lights. And I honestly thought that, since we'd gotten past him, that it'd be the end of it. But nope. We hear this massively aggressive revving engine noise as the dude zooms past us again, all before he just switches lanes so that he's right in front of us. Then he slows down, right down, so that I had to tell my sister to slow down too so we could maintain a safe distance between us. He then starts swerving from side to side ahead of us as we passed onto a smaller road, so badly that cars coming the other way are swerving and beeping their horns at him for fear of him slamming into them. I know this isn't the scariest idea ever. He wasn't a bloody vampire or a skinwalker or whatever else seems to dominate all those creepypasta forums, but I cannot overstate how unnerving it is to see such a dangerous driver on the roads, like right in front of you. It was how unpredictable he was acting too, like my heart was pounding, considering that he could just swerve into oncoming traffic or slam on his brakes at any moment when it might be way too late for us to stop ourselves and turn. We made sure to keep a safe distance as the road opened up in front of us again, into a full-on dual carriageway. But he switches lanes yet again risking causing a bloody accident, but again making it so that he's on our right-hand side as we come up to a set of traffic lights. Don't look at him. Just be cool. Don't look into his car. I tell my sister, who is like doubly nervous as me because she's actually the one at the wheel, and it's her car we're driving in. But here's the thing. My sister is blonde, and she gets quite a lot of attention from boys, something that has always been stressful for me. Those of you with younger siblings will probably understand exactly what I'm talking about. You just feel super protective of them. So when I heard that doon-doon-doon sound and looked to see the dirty, drunk driver banging on his passenger window, I knew what was about to happen. I instinctively turned up our car's radio, and again reiterated for her not to look at the car at all. But she was well practiced at ignoring thirsty guys, so that wasn't really an issue. But there was a new concern now, that he was going to follow us, and follow us he did. As the lights turn green, the drunk driver keeps level with us as we all start moving. He winds down his passenger window and starts shouting over the din of the engines and traffic, but thank God for the car radio, we could only faintly hear him. My sister is keeping her eyes on the road, but I'm staring at the guy out. My sister. My sister. My stepsister. Iowa doesn't exist. My husband needs extra blankies. Oh, yes, please. Please supply the man. ATX was insane this summer. I need to move north. I never heard of it. Yeah, if I'm reading, like basically, if I'm reading a story, there's, you know what I mean? Like, I wish I had chameleon eyes and two mouths so I could read chat at the same time. But, yeah, whenever I mess up is usually whenever I can read chat again. So, hope that makes sense. Why is he not calling the cops? I know, that would make some sense. Ash has been falling from the sky too much. Can you tell Fire to take a break, please? Yeah, dude, what's going on with that? Have I heard of the YouTuber Chills? You best believe it. Best believe. Chills actually gave his stamp of approval for the parodies that Jensen does. So that was nice of him. He said he thought it was really funny. Uh-oh, Alec is in the house. Ready to party. Hey guys, Jewel Party here. Sorry, just finished watching my Lightning hockey team win and now are playing the Stanley Cup Finals. Wow, crazy. That's cool. I didn't know the Stanley Cup was going on. I know it's the same time as like NBA Finals too, but I like don't pay attention to either. You never get any real snow in North Carolina. Honestly, consider yourself lucky. Like, snow's neat the first time, but eventually, like, by the end of fucking winter, when it's, like, around here, it's, like, fucking March, April, and even into May, it's still, like, sometimes can be snowing. You're just like, fuck off, dude. I don't want any more snow. I don't want any more ice. I just want to go outside and live my life. It's all muddy and gross. Yeah, for you, yeah, whenever you guys watch these videos and they're like an hour long, like how does it, what does it feel like going back to like Mr. Nightmare where the videos are only like 12 minutes long? Because I have gotten a few comments where like, why are these so long? Like, Mr. Nightmares are nice and quick and easy. El Hermanos, we are alive, baby. Updated link for Discord, I do believe. Maybe I should yeah, I think I'm not updating them. I should put that in the description, saying like ask a mod to get a linky. Linky. My sister is keeping her eyes on the road, and I'm staring the guy out at this point. Like I'm scared, but I'm only just really bloody angry now. He's shouting at her, making disgusting gestures with his fingers and tongue. I was ashamed that another grown man could ever act like that. He's not paying attention to the road, and he's not paying attention to his own driving either, so I watch in absolute horror as he starts drifting over to us slowly but surely. His passenger door getting closer and closer to my sister's side of the car as he noticed me staring and switches his attention. His passenger door is getting closer and closer to my sister's side of the car as he noticed me staring and switches his attention towards me, instantly becoming extremely aggressive as the expression behind his sunglasses changes radically. I could hear him clearly over the car radio now, screaming through his passenger window, stuff like, "What are you looking at?" along with other stuff I don't think would be appropriate to write out for polite company. I start warning my sister to edge off to the side of the road, which she does, and we're moving off the dual carriageway into a small road this time, so she ends up slowing down and stopping behind the van of a dude who was working on an electrical box just a few meters away. The drunk driver follows us, though, and actually has to swerve hard to avoid smashing into the parked van, which causes yet more beeping from the cars behind the drunk driver as he's pretty much forced to carry on off down the road. I'm thanking God out loud that we've lost the dude at this point, and I turn towards my little sister to see if she's okay, and she just burst into tears, leaning her head onto the steering wheel and sobbing. I can't even blame her. Fuck, that sounded weird. Leaning her head onto the steering wheel and sobbing. I can't even blame her. She finds driving stressful at the best of times, let alone when some drunk, dangerously driving pervert is giving her all kinds of unwanted attention. She was crying so loud that the electrician fella who was working away, whose attention was drawn anyway because of the drunk driver, at nearly just smashed... Sorry, this is such a fucking weird sentence. Bleh. Do y'all like iOS 14 so far? Yeah, I heard... I don't know, I'm like afraid to update my phone because I imagine it's just, gonna fucking cause, planned obsolescence for my version. She was crying so loud that the electrician fella who was working away, whose attention was drawn away because the drunk driver at nearly... whose attention was drawn away anyway because the drunk driver that nearly just smashed into his car, earning himself a torrent of beeps, ended up coming over to ask if she was okay. I was giving my sister little pats on the back as I wound down my window and explained what the guy was up to, and how he'd almost just caused a serious accident through being a drunk and a perv. And when the electrician asked if I made a note of the guy's number plate, I was just kicking myself. I had been so intensely scared of what might happen that it didn't even occur to me to make a record of the guy's number plate. I felt like a moron, but I was somewhat consoled by the idea that someone else might have had the presence of mind to do what I'd neglected to, and I sincerely hope someone did. That fella shouldn't have been on the roads at all, and I really, really hope he didn't cause an accident further on down the road. We ended up being late to our granddad's, but he didn't mind at all once we explained why we were so late, and he was just as outraged as we were that such a thing could even occur in the first place. Well, that's my story. I know it wasn't nearly as scary as some of the others get, but... Fuck, I don't know why my tongue is so twisted right now. Pradeep. He's on the backpack. Wait, is he? I think. He's like so dark I can't even see. Yeah. He's so dark I can't even see him on the black backpack. Well, that's my story. I know it wasn't nearly as scary as some of the others that get posted here. What with all the stalkers or catfish psychos that people have the misfortune to run into. But I literally can't remember a time when something has had me literally shaking with adrenaline like that did. We all tend to feel safe while on the roads, to the point where some people find driving to actually be kind of a boring experience, but it only takes something like that drunk driver to remind us all how vulnerable we really are. There's a FaceTime update. What's my favorite YouTuber? I really like watching Red Letter Media. That'll fix that right up, huh? Get all the kinks out. How many stories? Well, that was just story number 1 of 6, so plenty more to come, Armando. You were sketching and looked up and was like, whoa, I never look at my TV screen when I hear stories. I see why people feel relaxed. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Cheyenne Dorival with the 2 says, number 13, Burger King foot lebos. Thanks, Cheyenne. Do y'all know Dream Team? What's Dream Team? I know Mr. Creeps a little bit. We've chatted before. We actually did a collab on this channel a while back. Your birthday's on the 21st. What's that? Oh, well, there will be a new video on the 21st, but yeah, so streams usually happen on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, whereas videos are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. My epic meme page. Oh yeah, where's Fry tonight? He's usually here on a jiffy. Hey, thanks, Jess. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, we're gonna do story numero 2. I enlisted in the U.S. Army on my 18th birthday. Both my father and my grandfather had the honor of embarking on a military career and had both been seen combat in the Gulf and Vietnam, respectively. That sounded fucking strange, sorry. Both my father and grandfather had the honor of embarking on a military career and had both seen combat in the Gulf and Vietnam, respectively. Unlike my dad, whose war had lasted little more than 100 hours, my grandfather had done 2 tours of Vietnam with the 101st Airborne and had actually lost his left hand during the Battle of... Fuck, how do you even say that shit? Let's see, maybe they'll have the pronunciation. Thung Lu Asao. That doesn't help. It's like a Vietnam word that I do not know how to say.
We're picking up some ground fire down there, it looks like. I'm going to have to change my run-in heading. I'll still turn left here and keep clear of you.
The Tet Offensive.
Alright, let's see what they gotta say.
During the Tet Offensive of 1968, the North Vietnamese Army had staged through the Ah Chau Valley and...
Ah Chau Valley. Okay, cool. Kind of wanted to listen to that. That actually sounded interesting. I like those old programs, you know. Does anybody else, like, besides listening to, like, my stuff, ever listen to, like, old, I don't know, radio broadcasts and stuff like that? Shiny Dory Bob with the 5 says, my boyfriend's B-Day was the 8th and mine the 16th and our anniversary was the 12th. Glad to be here for the stream. Thank you, man. Also, TMNT for life. Hell yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage...
Hey, listen.
Gotta figure it out. Hannah's 80. She's crocheting right as we speak. And it actually lost his left hand during the battle in the Ah Chau Valley. And it actually lost his left hand during the battle in the Ah Chau Valley in 1969. Because of this, he insisted that I do everything in my power to avoid direct combat duty. He told me the stress had almost killed him when my dad went off into the desert to fight the army of Saddam Hussein. He couldn't face losing a son, and he wouldn't have that same stress on his mind if his grandson went off into combat duty either. So, I ended up as an 88M, a motor transport operator. Motor transport... You do crochet, that's funny. I knew it. Motor transport operators are mainly responsible for overseeing or driving vehicles to transport either personnel or vital supplies. We are the backbone of the U.S. Army's sustainment and support structure, providing essential advanced mobility both on and off the battlefield. I was sure to avoid direct combat duty in this role, but that didn't mean I would be exempt from a deployment to one of the U.S. Army's most dangerous and intense areas of operation since the Vietnam War. Afghanistan. My family and I had one last meal at my grandfather's place before I deployed, and if I'm honest, it was very emotional. My dad was proud. My mom was a nervous wreck who was only kept together by the fact that she had so much food to prepare, but it was my grandfather's little talk that he gave me that really had me falling to pieces. Like my dad, he was proud of me for serving his country, but he told me some of the things that he had seen during his time in Vietnam, things that clearly haunted him for a long, long time after he rotated back stateside. He told me that there were no heroes in war, not in the sense that the movies try to make it out. He told me ideas that get men killed in dumb, needless ways, and a lot of the kids he'd seen take a bullet in the Aisha Valley had sadly mistaken bravery for stupidity. Basically, he told me that there were only two things I should focus on: doing my job and getting home. He told me I would be a hero to the infantry guys who needed the bullets, the bandages, and the beans, and I had absolutely nobody to prove to myself. Whoops. And I had absolutely nobody to prove myself to. That the highest reward wasn't medals or glory or killing America's enemies. It was about being able to go home to your family, something that so many of his Vietnam buddies hadn't been able to do. My story takes place during the 3rd month of my year-long deployment to Nangarhar province. I have to make sure I say this right. Pronouncing it correctly by Let's Read. Pradeep's just flopped on his side at my feet. Hey, there's Fry. Alright, let's see. Was the right way? No. Wait, how to pronounce it? What the heck?
Nangarhar.
Nangarhar. Oh. Okay, well let me... Does it have the ratings?
Nangarhar.
That doesn't sound right.
Nangarhar.
We'll just go with that. My story takes place during the 3rd month of my year-long deployment to Nangarhar province, Afghanistan. I was assigned to Troop D, 1st Squadron, 61st Cavalry Regiment, as I had been driving army trucks for about 3 years by that time and was actually one of the more experienced guys. Troop D was tasked with running combat logistical patrols between FOBs, Troop D was tasked with running combat logistical patrols between FOBs Connolly and Fenty, which was about an hour away near the city of Jesus Christ. Jalalabad. Jalalabad. What the fuck? Jalalabad. Alright. Let's see how you say this.
Jalalabad.
Jalalabad. Okay, whatever. I guess that seems right. Flip flop. Flippy flop flop flippy. The background. Thanks, Caden. Okay, Jalalabad. Okay. Troop D was tasked with running combat logistical patrols between FOBs Connolly and Fenty, which was about an hour away near the city of Jalalabad. And although the drive between the bases only lasted a couple of hours, depending on the size of the load we were toting, the preparation time for the convoys made for very long days. We'd had a few close calls as far as attacks on our convoys went. We'd come under sniper attack at one point. There, the bulletproof windows of my 20-ton load handler got cracked from where the sniper's bullets slammed into it. That was a pretty intense day. If it would have penetrated, it'd have hit my vehicle commander right in the face or neck, and that would have definitely ruined both our days. We also had a couple of IED scares, but honestly, those were just more boring than anything else. The lead vehicle in the convoy would spot something suspicious at the side of the road, an unusual mound of earth or a burned out car or something. Then we'd have to wait hours and hours on end waiting for EOD, the bomb disposable guys. Fuck. Then we'd have to wait hours and hours on end waiting for EOD, the bomb disposal guys, to show up and declare it safe before we could continue. But without a shadow of doubt, the worst and most terrifying thing that happened during my entire tour happened on a supply run, one hot summer's day in May. The area we were rolling through was mostly farmland, with the odd small village interspersed throughout the arid rocky terrain. It wasn't unusual to see the farmers working their fields as we passed through, and some of them even gave us friendly waves, with their kids jumping up and down excitedly at the sight of such huge vehicles driving along the dusty dirt roads. Only this one day, we couldn't see a single person out in their fields, which is usually what we call an atmospheric indicator. This is when a certain detail in the environment... One of the most dangerous roads in the world. This is when a certain detail in the environment lets us know that the chances of a firefight happening is higher than usual, and a lack of civilians in the area is one of those. However, in the distance, I see this one lone kid pushing a wheelbarrow through one of the fields. This then gets reported over the radio, and it's pretty much sets our mind at ease because... Pradeep's like licking a plate in the background. 1 second. You just hear him like... Take a break and smoke a bong. Maybe. I don't really have it, though. It's so nice to hear some unique stories. YouTube channel's been stuck on a loop, and despite different channels somehow end up with the same rehash content. Yeah, sometimes it does happen. Dishwasher meow. This then gets reported over the radio, and it pretty much sets our mind at ease because there's no way the Taliban were about to initiate an ambush with one of the farmer kids working away on his lonesome. After all, they relied on the approval and good faith of the locals for their insurgency, just as much as we did for our counterinsurgency. Our lead vehicle stops just short of the kid, who's trying his hardest to push his fully laden wheelbarrow up a little embankment that connected his God damn it. OnlyFans stories, we're getting there. I imagine one day we'll have enough. You were in Jalalabad March 2013 to December. How was that? Our lead vehicle stops just short of the kid, who's trying his hardest to push his fully laden wheelbarrow up a little embankment that connected his farmer dad's, or uncle's, who am I to know, field to the road itself. We watched him, straining and pushing at his wheelbarrow, but kept on failing as it rolled back down the slope. There were a few moments where I thought it might topple over on top of him, and I'd have really hated to see that kid get hurt like that. I think it's why I was so relieved to hear one of our sergeants over the radio telling us to stand by because he was going to jump out of his truck to help the kid get his barrel over the... Dylan, thanks. Appreciate that. You gonna submit a story, Max? Nice. Some great tongue twisters. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm not like properly warmed up, you know what I mean? And I just like... These aren't even tongue twisters. I feel stupid. Like my brain just like doesn't, like some of the sentences are so fucking long because they're like blah 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 blah, comma, blah 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 blah, comma. Like as if though they're like, they should be like parenthesed instead of, I don't know. I'm just confused sometimes. Jordan Matthews with a 5 maple syrup dollar says, love the channel. Been subbed since Russian sleep experiment, and every day you get better. Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate that. Man, that's been a while, man. I don't even know when that was. 2015 maybe or something. That's crazy. Appreciate the load. Let me let this cat out, man. He's okay. Do I have cryptic stories? Maybe. Hiding somewhere. Going to bed, Mr. Blunt. Good night. Sleep well. Who let the cat out? Ooh. Well, it's like, I have to be whipped by him, because if I'm not, he'll just sit there and keep making noise while I record, and he like knows that he's doing it. He definitely has me trained. Or he scratches on the thing, and I'm like, alright, that means he wants out. Or he'll like run back and forth between the door and like look up at me like these like terrified eyes, like, don't you understand? Do people call you Mr. Reed? You can if you want. Mr. Reed was my father.
Full-grown pizza.
Hey, Summer Daisy Love has become a full-grown pizza and a member of the Buttersock Cult. Welcome, welcome. Sleep channel with your voice. I do have an ASMR channel with like 4 videos if you guys ever want to check that out. I'm not sure how well they will assist you, but... Favorite music from the 90s. Oh shit. It's a good... Maybe running in the 90s? No, I don't even think that was in the 90s. I love just like... techno shit from the 90s was pretty sick. Obviously also like all the grunge stuff and all like the emotional rock stuff. What's up, Summer Daisy? The full-grown pizza. That's actually from Chills. Chills says that in the video. He's like, as you can see, the spider was the size of a full-grown pizza. And like, it just became a meme, and then I was like, that needs to be my, like, fucking notification, because that's so fucking funny. 9-inch nails, nice. Okay, where the fuck were we? I think it's why I was so relieved to hear one of our sergeants over the radio, telling us to stand by because he was going to jump out of his truck to help the kid get his barrel over the road. Like I said, we relied on the goodwill of locals for information and whatnot, so that kind of aid was very, very essential to our overall success in the area. Our sergeant approaches the kid, gives him a little wave and says his salams, and the kid smiles and returns the wave. The sergeant then points at the wheelbarrow and mimes pushing it up the embankment. The kid looks like he's thinking for a moment, then gives him a nod. The sergeant gives him a thumbs up. The kid returns it, and everything is all right. The kid backs off the barrel, and the sergeant steps in, takes hold of the handles, and begins to push it up the embankment, but is clearly struggling. Not as much as the kid, but struggling nonetheless. Whatever was in there must have been really heavy, and was covered by a large piece of tarpaulin. Was it tarpaulin? Sorry. Let me look that up real quick. Hey, Panda of Hearts with a $20 donation says, this is helping me sleep tonight. Thank you, Panda. Thank you for the 20. I appreciate that. And Jenny Lenning with a 5 says, can you tell me to get back to work? Jenny, it's time, babe. The time has come to get to work and do some work. Jordan Matthews with the 10 Canadian maple syrup dollars says, heading out now. Have a good stream. Keep up with the work. Thanks, Jordan.
Listen.
Enjoy Canada. Have a good time. Thank you. What story we're on? We're on story numero 20. I think. Yes.
Tarpaulin.
Tarpaulin. Oh, okay. Okay. Am I going to upload any more on my ASMR channel? Probably not. Just don't really have the time to do it, you know, with as much as I put on this channel. It's just hard to keep up with, you know. Initially what happened, I was doing 3 videos on this channel, and then I switched to like basically 2 videos, but I would split them in 2, so I'd have 4 videos throughout the week. But they actually started making the channel do worse for whatever fucking reason, so I went back to the 3 long videos, and I don't know. But whenever I was doing 2, split in half to make 4, I had more time, you know, so I was like, well, I might as well experiment with something else, which is pretty sweet sometimes, you know. I kind of wish I could go back to that, but, you know, you just kind of get into your rhythms, and, but yeah. Whatever was in there must have been really heavy and was covered by a large piece of tarp. Our sergeant let go of the handles of the wheelbarrow and leans over and lifts the tarp slightly. Then he starts to run back towards the convoy, hand on his radio set before he screams. Then he starts to run back towards the convoy, hand on his radio set before his screams start to buzz all over. Then he starts to run back towards the convoy, hands on his radio set before his screams start to buzz all over all of our radios. Jesus fuck. Okay. Then he starts to move back towards the convoy, hand on his radio set before his screams start to buzz over all of our radios. Move back. Move the F back. IED. IED. I... His last word was cut off by a huge explosion, one which kicked up a huge ball of dust which engulfed all of our vehicles and plunged my truck's cab into darkness. We call it a brownout when there's so much dust in the air that you can only see like 2 feet in front of you, sometimes not even that. In the immediate aftermath, a dozen voices started shouting on our radios demanding to know what had happened and what we were supposed to do. Our lieutenant immediately called for comms discipline, silencing all the panicked voices before declaring that we'd been struck by a roadside bomb. I'm not sure any of us quite knew what had happened in the minutes that followed. Even our vehicle, who had one of the best views, just didn't quite want to believe what we'd seen. Our sergeant was KIA the moment the IED went off, which was concealed in the wheelbarrow the kid had been pushing. The kid had absolutely no idea what was in there either. He had no desire to run away before it went off. He wasn't in the least bit suspicious or contemptuous towards us as we approached. Rumors went around that ended up getting confirmed that the Taliban had paid the kid's family a few dollars to push the barrel towards us so they could detonate it when the kid got close. It's stuff like that which scared me the most during my tour. I met some Afghans when I was over there that were some of the kindest, most gentle souls I'd ever met. Every bit as peaceful and freedom-loving as the average rural American. But the people that fought us, the people that schemed to turn kids into human bombs, and then justified it to themselves like they were doing the right thing, that's what gave me sleepless nights over there, as well as sleepless nights after I got back to the States. Yeah, this is the second story. Jesus Christ, dude. War sucks, man. And I'll never understand it. Monica is gonna hit that like button. That is a sad one. I don't even know if I can put that in the beginning, to be honest. You're so easily distracted to do this. That's okay. Basically, all I have to do is look at you guys, read what you say, and then go back to my story, which is right beside it. And then once in a while, Pradeep freaks out, and you got to deal with his baby mind. Anybody else have a big jug of peanut butter right beside them at all times that they can munch on? I won't be doing it right now because that would probably completely ruin my reading vibe. Mannequin, hello, hello. Emo Halo Demon 91 with a 5 maple syrup dollars. So some more maple syrup monies for you. I'm currently at work at security guard life. Oh, nice, dude. Look out for them ghosties. Them spooky dookies. And thank you for the 5. Steve Harrington with the $7.60 is Joel. $7.60 USD is $10 Canadian. Enjoy maple cashola, and thanks for making my night. You're welcome, Steve. Thanks for always being here and your support. I really appreciate it. Peanut butter. Ooh, peanut butter.
Hey, listen.
You got Chex peanut butter in your room? Nice. Yeah, this one's like... We got it during the... like, you know, before we went on our trip. Me and some friends went just to cabin and stuff, and we just did a bunch of grocery shopping or whatever. And right beside, you know, just for the mornings, was a giant thing of jelly and a giant thing of peanut butter. This is 5 pounds of Skippy brand. Skippy brand peanut butter. There was an organic brand of peanut butter at this grocery store called... Well, I forget what it's called. But anyways, it's like organic, and it's so fucking good. It's like already like... I kind of hate those peanut butters that you have to mix yourself, because it's like literally like getting a forearm workout before you like finally get to make your peanut butter, and like you feel like you're George Washington Carpenter, like making the shit, you know what I mean? Like, you get the authentic experience of creating your own fucking peanut butter. Yes, I like smooth peanut butter, but I also really like crunchy peanut butter. Or they call it chunky, sorry. Chunky. Chunky. Whoa, another nickname for you is Skippy? Are you comprised of silky smooth peanut butter? Crunchy as fuck. Hey Barbie. Welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while. Could you say something in the most evil voice you can do? The most evil voice. The most evil voice. The most evil voice. You've yeed your last ha, boy. You've yeed your last ha. You've yeed your last ha, boy. Child, you've yeed your last ha. You've yeed your last ha, child. You've yeed it. The ha, you've yeed it. The last one. Natural, organic. Yeehaw. Whenever you yeehaw, would that be considered organic? I can't do Vincent Price. Character from Meat Canyon's vids. Oh yeah. Oh, it stinks so good. It stinks so good. I love, like, the thing I love about Meat Canyon's videos is that, like, a lot of besides like the comedy aspects, a lot of them like deal with some really like existentially like terrifying concepts as well, like the fucking when Pinocchio's gonna eat his dad, but he's also like gonna eat his soul, so his existence stops for all of eternity. It's just like, Jesus Christ, that sounds crazy. What in tarnation? Jared from Subway. Hey guys, it's Jared from Subway. Halloween's gonna be boring this year. Not with me. You can spend it on my channel. Channel. You join a cult just to have a good story. Yeah. What would be a good cult to join? Like Scientology? I hear that one's I feel like you have to be careful if you join a cult, because they're not going to let you get out easily, from what it sounds like. Hannah, it is sucks. Alright, so this is story number 3. Will it be live on Halloween? Let's see. October 31st is a Saturday. Maybe. Honestly, I might be, just for the sheer fuck of it. Cults are so last year. Dude nearly got abducted by Scientology in Hollywood. I should write that story. You should. Yamino Game. Get on Reddit, reddit.com/r/let'sreadofficial, or submit it to let'sreadsubmissions@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear your story. Send it in. Okay, so we are on story 3, which almost puts us at halfway. The Reese's Society. Oh, fuck. Speaking of, silky smooth, buttery goodness, look at that. Stephanie M with the $50 donazione. Thank you so much, Stephanie. No message to go with that. It says Ben MIA. Oh, well, that's okay. No worries, no worries. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, the cult. You guys have joined my cult. Good luck getting away, alright? Once you're in here, you're not getting out. Clap that butt. Clippy, clappy, cloopity cloop. Okay. Thank you again. Thank you. The atheist cult. No one shows up. The scariest thing to ever happen to me on a road trip or highway happened way back when I was a kid. My mom and dad had arranged a little weekend getaway for themselves, so they took us over to my aunt's place so we could hang out with our cousins and whatnot while they got themselves some well-deserved peace and quiet. We spent the first day just playing in a local park, throwing a football around, just doing the things that kids do, but the next day, my aunt and another aunt of mine decided to drive us somewhere for some activity I can't even remember now. I mean, this is so long ago that I can't even remember when we were driving or why, or where we were driving, sorry. I mean, this is so long ago that I can't even remember where we were driving or why. I remember being in the back seat, bored out of my skull, and just watching the road ahead of us through the gap in the sheets. What I find kind of weird is how some details in this incident are burned into my memory, while others completely escape me. I suppose that's just how memory works sometimes, so excuse me if this account seems spotty, but I think you'll all get the gist of it. On the road ahead of us, as a brick red... God, there's so many, random little... missing letters. Confuses me, sorry. Fuck candy corn. Honestly, I'm gonna have to agree with you on the candy corn sentiment. I am not a huge candy corn guy. When people give it to me, I'm just I'll use this for fucking mulch or to line the inner casings of a hamster cage. It's just, it does kind of have a buttery, tasty goodness to it, I guess, but ever since I was young, there's something that's always grossed me out to it. Maybe because it wasn't individually packaged, and you dump your fucking bag of candy onto the ground, and for some reason the candy corn is just it just floods out, as if someone with their disgusting ungloved hands just reached into the bottom of a sugar barrel and were this is something that my grandmother gave me that I never ate because it's disgusting, and I give it to you. Happy Halloween, you piece of shit. It's just ugh. I'd much rather have some... I'm kind of a Reese's guy, you know what I mean? Some of that chocolate, some of that peanut butter mixed together. And you know how it was made. Family Guy did a good job explaining that. Yuck. Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's like, and I would like, if they, honestly, if it was Swedish fish that were just like the unpackaged concentration of like, you know, glucose casings, like I'd munch on that for sure, but something about candy corn just doesn't stick well with me. I guess it would be kind of cute on like a fucking, what's it called? Like a cupcake. Oh, dude, you know what's the best fucking cupcakes? Because a lot of times cupcakes are dry as like white dog shit, you know what I mean? But whenever you put like cream inside of a cupcake, I think you might be, that's kind of like how you get married essentially. Like if you're the kind of person that puts like cream inside of a cupcake, prepare to get wifed up, because that's easy peasy pick right there. Because I just don't know how people can make cupcakes for years and years and years on end and know for a fact that the bottom part that's not like the top is not moist and is pretty much disgusting and gets, you know, thrown away when no one's looking. But all you have to do is just cream it up. Fill it with cream. Cream pie that shit, and it's fucking golden. Dots candy are good. Aren't dots the one that are like on paper and shit? You hate cream in a cupcake? Oh, you don't know what you're missing, bruh. It's fucking the bomb.crom. Soft shortbread cookies. Sour Patch Kids. I remember we went, you know, I was on a trip recently and we got a bunch of candy and I was eating fucking, I was eating sour worms. And I don't know what it was about them, but like we were eating them and I'd eventually like be chewing them for a while. And then I got all the sugar shit off of it. And then I literally would just take them out of my mouth and throw them away because it was like, it was just so disgusting. I was like, this is like fucking this is like plastic. I can't even chew into this. And I'm like, how the fuck is my human body supposed to digest this like strange synthetic material? Like, I don't even understand it. It was like eating like pieces of a frisbee that melted off in the hot sun. I'm not sure when that would ever happen, but you can imagine. Porcelain Malls with the 5 says, Joel, my love, sorry I'm late. I was watching The Devil All the Time. It was brilliantly disturbing. How are you tonight, my dear? I'm good, Molly. What the Devil All the Time? What is, has anybody else watched this? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Thank you for the 5. How do I eat my cupcake? Usually I start with the top for show. Top down. I'll usually lick off the top, but that's the thing is like once I lick off the top I'm like, oh, this is the good part. Now granted, the head area, the shaft, no, I'm just kidding, like it's usually soft, but that's why I'm like, you gotta maintain the, there used to be like, I remember around here there used to be like 3 different like gourmet fucking cupcake places just popped up out of nowhere. I'm like, when the fuck are cupcakes so popular? But they were good. Catherine Rojas with the 5 says, hey Joel, love your stuff. Question, do you ever take a mental break from recording videos? I got to take a break from your videos because my mental health is bad. Well, yes, kind of. So like I kind of do from like whenever I do my podcast promotion, which is a compilation video once a month, is going to be this Monday. Usually once a month, every Monday, every 4 weeks. Now, granted, I release the podcast on, you know, all the major podcast platforms, which also I heard Amazon is now doing podcasts. I don't know if you guys had heard about that. So I'm going to have to probably update my distribution of my podcast and be sure that it's on Amazon Music, which is pretty neat. But yeah, I release every 2 weeks on there, usually Mondays around noon. I usually update on Twitter if it's not going to, you know, come out around then or whatever. But, yeah, this Monday there will be another podcast up and ready to rock and roll. It's, you know, it's a compilation of old material. You're going to hear all the new stuff here on YouTube first, but it's usually like 6 months out and stuff. And so usually I do a longer compilation that seems to do pretty well here on YouTube, but it gives me a little bit of a break, you know, but then also kind of like gives new users like stories maybe they haven't heard yet, or gives you guys long videos, you know, so you don't have to like dig through a playlist. You can just, oh, I got a 3-hour video right here that's new. Let me click on that shit and go to Dreamland. But yes, definitely need a break from time to time. Don't speak of things you do not know. The Jones Bros cupcakes. The Jonas Brothers? Pop Rocks and soda? That sounds fucking dangerous, dude. That sounds like a science experiment ready to blow. Oh, Emily, thank you. Sugar Mills with the $20 says I make white cake with buttercream frosting, which I'm sure I can make into cupcakes. My fiance loves it, and my family tried it as well, and they love it too. Oh my god, that sounds so fucking good, dude. Thank you for the 20 Sugar Mills. Thank you so much. You guys will have to mail me some cupcakes. That'd be so funny to just like drop cupcakes into a kid's, you know, trick-or-treat bag. It's stuffed with razor blades. Molly with the 2 says The Devil All the Time's on Netflix if interested. Nice. I will have to check that out. I really have so many shows to catch up on. Yeah. Eat warheads until your mouth bleeds. Dude, one time I was eating these chips. Oops. Or no, was it chips? Yeah, I think I was eating like no, was it sour cream? What the fuck is the... Oh, salt and vinegar. I was eating so many fucking salt and vinegar chips that the top portion of my tongue started to like erode away, and it was very scary. But I read up online that like that can happen, you know, apparently the tissues, the mucous membrane tissues that exist within your mouth grow back pretty fast, also extending to like your lips and stuff, which is kind of interesting. Never knew that. But yeah, that was gross. And then I think the same thing happened one time when I was eating like super sour gum. Oh no, I was chewing super sour gum that was like, you know, those rolls of gum. They're like tape, you know, I don't even know, gum tape or some shit like that. I forget what it's called. But like I would just pull like long strips of it out and chew on it, and it like started to like make my teeth sore. It was so fucking like, I don't even know what you want to call it, like just acidic mixed with like sugar. Your tongue grows back quick. Yeah, not your entire tongue, but like the top layer of the tissues inside of your mouth are mighty resilient. Bubble tape, yeah, Jesus. On the road ahead of us was a brick red pickup truck, its rear storage space crammed with building equipment. I distinctly remember a bunch of bricks and building sand, and balanced on top, secured by some rope or some other kinds of cordage, was a large rusted wheelbarrow. A sheet of blue plastic tarp was flapping violently in the wind, and as the truck drove on ahead of us, I remember seeing the whole load rumbling and shaking in a way that, in retrospect, should have been me feel this... Oh, okay. I remember seeing the whole load rumbling and shaking in a way that, in retrospect, should have made me feel distinctly uncomfortable. I remember my aunt commenting on it, how they were pretty worried about how poorly the truck's load was secured, but I didn't really think anything of it. When you're as young as I was, you just don't consider certain possibilities or dangers. So I had no idea what was about to happen, and when it did, the whole thing scared the life out of me in a way that I don't think I'd ever felt. I watched in absolute horror as the wheelbarrow came loose and fell off the back of the truck. It didn't happen in stages. It didn't slip and then fall, so that my aunt, who was driving, had time to swerve or back off or whatever. It just fell, suddenly and violently. Sorry, that sounded fucking weird. Colleen Smith with the 5 says, thanks for sharing your Audible chocolate. Oh, you're welcome. It is my early Halloween gift to all of you. Unwrapped. Unwrapped and melted, just dumped right into your bag. Clove cigs are gross. Yeah, I remember buying a bunch of those from the candy store at the mall and thinking I was so cool. I just fell. No, not I just fell. It just fell. It just fell, suddenly and violently, right off the back of the pickup and into the road as the car I was in continued to speed towards it. My aunt screamed, one throwing her face up to her. She threw her face. My aunt screamed, one throwing her hands up to her face, as she obviously expected the thing to slam into the windshield of the car. We were on the highway at the time, driving at maybe 60 or 70 miles an hour, and at those speeds, there's no telling what kind of catastrophic damage it would have caused. But somehow the wheelbarrow hit the road and actually bounced. It bounced in a way I never thought possible for something made of almost entirely metal. Maybe it landed on its rubber wheel first, and that's what gave it a little extra momentum, but somehow it narrowly missed the windshield and scraped against the roof of the car. An orchestra of beeping car horns erupted behind us as we slowed to a stop, but my aunts knew they weren't directed at them for slowing to a stop. I remember a guy from the car behind getting out to see if we were okay, and thank God we were, whereas the pickup in front of us just kept going, probably knowing full well that they'd be subject to arrest or something for not securing their load properly. So yeah, that's definitely the scariest thing I'd ever have happen to me on a car journey, by a long shot. Act 4793 with a $5 and says, I love you, man. You helped me get through work. Thanks, Act. You are welcome. Hope work's going well for you. How old am I? I am 30, dirty 30. Joel is the crypt keeper. Oh, hello, kitties. I'm the crypt keeper. Tonight's stories will leave you. Oh, remember? I don't remember which video it is, but I had the the voice of the crypt keeper was literally on my channel. Because of like a collab I did with somebody else in their podcast, and they had like worked directly with him and shit like that. So if anybody remembers which video that is, it exists. Asking for Joel's age, everyone's favorite question. I guess, just want to see how close we are in case maybe we can play dodgeball in school together or something like that. She threw her entire face off. Mariah, thank you. I don't really remember the laugh. It's a fucking wild laugh. That guy's talented. I feel like I'm more inclined to the deep voice range. It's hard to do like the high voice. Ooh. You thought Joel was 55? Jesus, Lila. Really throwing me out there. I thought Joel was dead. The movie Demon Knight. I don't think I've seen that one from Tales from the Crypt. Oh, dude, that'd be sick to buy like every Tales from the Crypt season ever. I think that would be fun to like just go through all of them. How old is Chills? I think Chills is like 24 or something like that. Maybe 22. He's pretty young. What's your favorite immigrant image from the hologram on screen? I do like the orca whale swimming. That one's pretty cool. But I like all of them. I like all of them equally. 30 is a magical age. Just sleep wrong for a second and you automatically feel like death. This is true. I actually fixed my bed, which is pretty sick. Like for quite a, like basically my two portly friends fucking, I don't know, like slammed their body. They did like a WWE move on my fucking bed, and they're both like well into the, their combined weight has to be at least 500 pounds, and they just fucking just snapped the one crossbeam on the bottom of my bed frame. And I just think for years I never like properly fixed it, you know? Or like I thought that I didn't really need the center beam or whatever, and then but I always just felt like one part of my bed was like sinking while the other part was like flat, so I had to like choose that side, and it was very uncomfortable. But recently I took it all apart and made it nice and fixed, and now I feel like the bed's actually flat, which is pretty baller. They were, yes. 30 means your body hurts for no reason at all. Chills is 22 according to Google. Yeah, I think he recently like posted about that, like having a 22nd birthday. Just crazy, you know. I think he started this channel before he was even like 18. What makes them portly? Do they drink excessively? I think it's the food. They don't really drink. I think it's the food and the not doing shit ever. But I can relate to that too. You can get arthritis as early as 30. Yeah, what is the, I need to know more about that. That would suck. Same age as Chills, Hannah. Oh, or Jensen. Jensen's 22. Wait, is Jensen 22? I thought Jensen was slightly older. I've been a long-haul truck driver for a good few years now. I find it pretty enjoyable, to be honest. It just suits my lifestyle. I've never been the most sociable person, so I actually really like the whole thing of it just being me with nothing but my stereo system and the open road for company. My job has taken me to some incredible places, too. Things that regular 9-to-5 office workers just never get to see from their dusty, dimly lit office spaces. Even those with Dude, what is wrong with me? I can't do this. Even those with views from skyscrapers and stuff, they never see the landscape change. How the sun frames mountain ranges or the moon shimmers off boundless lakes. Even with all the built-up areas, this country really is beautiful in parts. Wyoming and Montana are some of my favorites, the mountain ranges and prairies being like picture postcards in places. But, and I mean no offense here, but the Iowa cornfields get so tedious in places because there's literally nothing but cornfields as far as the eye can see. However, my least favorite place to drive in the entire country has to be Louisiana. Again, I mean absolutely no offense to any native sons of the Bayou State. I've had some of the best fried catfish I'd ever tasted in little roadside diners while rolling through that place. But there's something inherently creepy about Louisiana too. Maybe it's just the humidity, the gators, or the way the Cajuns can just switch from English to French on a dime and shut you right out of a conversation. The whole southern hospitality is as real as I'm surely...
Hey, listen.
Fucking choking on my spit over here, bro. I have a secret crush on Chills. I do, dude. Chills is the fucking man. Polanita, Paola, I missed you so much. How you been? I've been good. Just chilling, feeling better. Just choked on my spit. It's pretty sweet. But thank you. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you back. Yeah, I'm going to be updating the merch store here soon with a new design, which is going to be waifu let's read, which is like my avatar in waifu format, so if you're interested in that. The whole southern hospitality is as real as I'm surely breathing, and I really have met some of the nicest, most generous people in the entire country down in Louisiana. Fuck, dude. Choke, daddy, choke. Oh my god, sorry. Did making videos become more difficult once you turn 30? I don't think so. Pretty much the same stuff, except when I'm choking on my own fucking spit. Sorry, just like get joint pains when it rains. I take a lot of like hemp oil capsules for a long time. Seems to help my joints. And I also take like collagen supplements. I don't fucking know if it makes any difference. I mean, I've been working out for a long time, so I'm sure like eventually it's gonna hit me, but I feel pretty good. I feel like a young little whippersnapper. It's the corona. It's always the corona. Everything is corona. Are you guys getting PS5 or Xbox? I think the PS5 looks better, but honestly, the Harry Potter game looks pretty sick. Same with the Demon Souls remake. They actually look pretty legit. But I also like don't really know if it's smart to get a system like right out the gate, because well, personally, I don't really think any of the games like look super worth it per se. It's the phlegm. The phlegmy phlegm. Well, it's just like, yeah, something caught in there a little bit. Working out changes my voice, maybe. I've been working on my Adam's apple. The whole Southern hospitality is as real as I'm surely breathing, and I really have met some of the nicest, most generous people in the entire country down in Louisiana. I'm talking the kind of people that would give their last dollar or the shirt off their backs. But I guess it just takes a place of extremes, because I've also met some of the least welcoming and, quite frankly, most terrifying people I'd ever met in my whole life down there. And this here is the story of one of those encounters. One that still keeps me up at night sometimes, and that takes a few glasses of vodka just to shut the memories out. So this one time, I'm rolling along this highway late in the evening, way behind schedule on a shipment due in Dallas, Texas. The tight timing meant it looked like I was going to have to pull another brutal all-nighter to get my load to the depot on time. But if that was going to be the case, I'd have to stop at some roadside crawfish shack to fill up on greasy food and coffee, so I had the energy to keep going. So I turned my truck off the road at the first place I saw. This place with a glowing luminous sign that flashed with half the letters missing, but it was all I needed to see. Rustin Crawfish Shack, the place was called, and it was little more than a collection of sheet metal shacks at the side of the road. But hey, those are the kind of places where some Cajun mama bear has been making the same delicious po' boys for the last 30 years, and God, I just love what those people can do with a few shrimp and a slice of lemon. So I order up some food, and get it to order. So I order up some food, get it to order, and then sit outside of the... Oh, okay. So I order up some food, get it to go, and then sit outside to wolf it down before I'm back on the road when some older black guy comes up to ask me where I'm from. He was pretty friendly, and I don't mean to be judgmental here, but he had a very, very unusual appearance. He dressed normally, had close, cropped hair, but he was very, very skinny, like unnaturally skinny, like he was just skin and bones with no muscle, keeping his body upright whatsoever. Wait, what? Like he was just skin and bones with no muscle, keeping his body upright. Oh, I see. Sorry, it just sounded weird. It sounded so weird. Coffin let out a huge fart. Yeah, we'll save that for my 40s. Coffin fart. Like he was just skin and bones with no muscle keeping his body upright whatsoever. I tell him up north originally, but that I'm based in Arkansas for my job, and we start just casually talking about the area and its history. He was a nice enough guy, but I had to excuse myself, telling him if I didn't get this load to Dallas Depot on time, that I'd be in a whole world of trouble. It's the kind of thing that guys lose their jobs over, so I couldn't afford to play fast and loose with my timing. And in my case, the risk was extra high since I had a high-value load of electronics, new TVs and such, and every day a delivery is late, the depot can find a trucking company and dramatically lower their bottom line. He puzzles the thought over for a moment and then told me he thought he could help me out, and to wait there for a moment while he fetched something from a back room of the shack. At first I thought it was going to be some pills that would keep me extra wired all night, but what he brought out of the crawfish shack was something that sent chills through me, even thinking about it today. The guy returned with a piece of cypress wood in his hand, like a bare piece, looking like it had been freshly cut from a tree. He had me follow him over to my truck, out of sight of the rest of the crowd that was gathering outside of the shack. Once we were alone, he pulls out this huge knife and tells me to carve my name into the wood, my full name, or it won't work. I was just about to ask him what it was when he shushes me, hands me the knife, then tells me to obey. The blade looks jagged and slightly bent, like it's been home forged or something. This was creepy enough on its own, but it was only when I take the knife from his hand do I see what the handle is made of. Y'all ever heard of a jawbone knife? It's literally what it sounds like. The blade is obviously metal, but the handle is made of an animal's jawbone. Some places it can be made of a bear or cougar's jaw with the teeth kind of blunted so that it doesn't rip your fingers up. Sounds weird, but they actually make for great grip, and they were actually really popular back in the old frontier days. But this jawbone knife that he passed me was different. There was something horribly familiar about the shape and size of the teeth, the way only one of them was pointed while the others were flat or jaggedly cupped. I thought it might have been a pig's jaw at first, but the actual jawline was way too thin for that, and it was with terror in my heart that I finally realized what I was looking at. It was human. That jaw had once belonged to a human being. I thought to say something, to ask him where he's gotten his hand on such a thing. I mean, I wanted to shove him away and throw his wooden board right back at him, but I'm telling you, when a guy has handed you a knife that you strongly suspect is made of a freaking human jawbone, you ain't nothing but polite to him. So I did as I was asked, carved my name into the wood, then handed him back the knife, all the while he seemed to take an immense amount of pleasure in knowing how afraid I was. He then tells me that he's going to bury the piece of wood out in the bayou somewhere, and that once he'd done that, I'd get to Dallas with loads of time and that I wouldn't have to worry about a thing. Long story short, I did get to Dallas on time. I was wide awake for the entire journey, made every exit and turn just like I was supposed to. But I was only so focused on the journey ahead because I wanted to keep the thoughts of where that knife had come from out of my mind. So, I suppose, in a manner of speaking, the little ritual did work. Maybe not in the way that he had intended to, where some weird bayou spirits had taken care of me for the remainder of my journey, but it was the thing that spurred me on to get away from that crawfish shack and on to my destination. That was story 4, which is pretty interesting, actually. I was kind of like half worried that was going to talk about some magic shit, but it was just creepy because of the jawbone, which is, to me, I think better, because, I don't know. I don't really want to read like a creepypasta or something like that. Someone pull a fast one on me. Just like a baby butter sock. Long drive on a dark street. Clam strips. That sounds yummy, kind of. Deep fried shit right now sounds amazing. Can't do it, but sounds good. How many stories left? We got 2 more stories left. And we're over 1,000 people here. Hello, 1,000 people. Wow, wow, wow. Devil in the bayou, yeah, devil in the bayou. The weird bayou spirits. Shit is creepy. There's a game. You guys have probably heard about it. It's called The Hunt Showdown or some shit like that. And basically it's I think I talked about this before. One of the stories even mentioned it, but basically you're in like an open bayou-esque level, like down in Louisiana, like in the, post-Civil War era. So it's quite a while ago. And I don't know, some sort of plague has entered the land where it's like supernatural shit. And there's a bunch of just, everybody's like zombies, and there's random monsters and stuff like that. And it's a battle royale game, but it's like 2v2v2, so like you got teams of 2, and you're just like trying to advance to the level, like as a hunter, trying to use like clues and stuff to find where these like monsters are that you have to kill and then banish, and then bring back like a piece of them to show that you've, like, as part of your bounty. So it's kind of intense because you're trying to like complete these objectives and stuff, but there's also like human hunters and stuff that can kill you. And, there's a lot of tomfoolery in the sense that you can like kill a monster and they can wait for you to come out and they can kill you and steal your stuff. Can I read in a British accent? I don't think I could, honestly. I try to do British sometimes and it kind of pisses people off. Because they're like, what the fuck is that? But it's really immersive. Like the sound design in that game is pretty wild and it's pretty sick. Your mama's a hoe. The Hunt Showdown. Yeah, it's a good game. Red or white wine? I feel like red gets me drunker, but I do like white. It tastes good. Some of it tastes good. Oh, you're allergic to wine? Interesting. I don't really drink wine too often, though. But I like the idea of... It seems to get me tipsy, like, really quick. Like, one glass, and I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why does wine hit me like this? Can I do a sling blade? Yeah, shouldn't have done that. You're the boy. Down in the bayou. So my trucking route is from here in Connecticut all the way down to Kentucky and Tennessee. It's a pretty good run. I get to see pretty much all the sights the East Coast has to offer, but there's one area of the country that gets pretty wild, and that's the area around the Appalachian Mountains. You guys probably know that it's one of the poorest areas of the country, one that got really screwed over as the coal mining jobs started to dwindle and the local economy went down the pooper. I really feel for the people down there. Seeing how entrenched in poverty some of the families are is just heartbreaking. So I was rolling through an area of the state that I hadn't previously been through, thanks to my usual section of highway being blocked off by some huge traffic accident that had unfortunately left a few people dead. It was having some trouble navigating the roads after my phone ran out of battery, and wouldn't you know it, the plug charger decides to give out too. Worst timing ever. But I was an experienced truck driver, and I wasn't driving on an 18-wheeler on that particular run, so I was free to take some of the smaller roads to find my way around. But despite the fact that I consider myself pretty good on the roads, there was a point that I found myself hopelessly lost, and I started to worry that I wouldn't make my shipping delivery deadline. That would mean disciplinary proceedings and whatnot, and I just couldn't afford those at all. Anyway, I happened to see this one guy wandering down the side of the road, so I slow my truck, wind down the window, and ask him for directions. The guy seems friendly enough and is more than willing to take a few minutes to give me all the information I need on how to make it back onto the main highways that headed south. But then I start asking him if there's anywhere nearby that I'd be able to get some lunch, as it was getting towards 1 in the afternoon and I'd only managed to get myself a pretty meager breakfast. The guy seems to think for a minute, scratching his head, taking an unusually long time to think of an answer to a question that usually takes like seconds to answer. It's where to be. It's where to be. You don't get service in the Appalachians. Do you call them Appalachians or Appalachians? I do like whenever people describe like a demographic of people. They're like, oh yeah, they're Appalachian. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Because I feel like that's just like such a wide range of individuals. Wrong turn. Oh, night, Hannah. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs suck your toes. The guy seems to think for a minute, scratching his head, taking an unusually long time to think of an answer to a question that usually takes like seconds to answer. It's rare to be anywhere in West Virginia where there isn't a Cracker Barrel within a few miles, so why he didn't just point me in the direction of one of those was beyond me. When I pressed him, he told me he knew of an old family-run place that did the best chicken fried steak in the entire county, maybe even the state. Suddenly, all was forgiven. I might be a northerner, but I kid you not, if I turned down a good fried... Suddenly, all was forgiven. I might be a northerner, but I'll be darned if I turned down a good chicken fried steak. All that was taking so long was for him to try and remember the best way there that wouldn't take me down some run-down old dirt road, one which might get my truck stuck on it, which really would have left me screwed. So after a minute, he gives me some pretty detailed directions towards an old strip mall. He told me it wasn't abandoned, but... Justin, shout out to you, my dog. My doggy. Some sizable dead zones. Country fried chicken. He told me it was mostly abandoned, but that restaurant was still there, along with a few other small businesses, and not to pay any mind if the place seemed quiet during lunch, as it did the majority of its business in the early to late evening. I was happy enough, thanked the guy, then set off following the directions he'd given me. It took me a little while to find the old strip mall the guy was talking about. It was honestly a little frustrating to drive past a couple of chain restaurants and whatnot, given that I was so hungry. But man, if I wasn't craving some of that country-style fried chicken steak and shit. But man, if I wasn't craving some of that country-style chicken fried steak, and if it was a family-run place, then all the better. That chain restaurant stuff just doesn't cut it compared to a real home-style cooking. But eventually I actually find this run-down old strip mall the guy seemed to be talking about, and it was little wonder the place was in such a state of disrepair. It was way off any highway. There was absolutely no signage for it, literally nothing to let anyone know it was there. But even worse, I saw zero indication that there was any kind of restaurant open in any of the units. I wasn't about to give up so easily, though, as I did see one place that had a big old sign over it saying something like Mama J's Country Kitchen, or some variation on that. So my hopes were restored. That's when I see a guy open up the door of the place, stepping out into the afternoon heat and staring over at my truck. I gave him away from the driver's side, overjoyed that I was finally about to get some decent food on what had been a long, lonely drive from Connecticut. I figured he hadn't seen me do it, that the sun was obscuring his vision or something, just because he continued to stare back at me. Anyway, I get out of my truck, lock the doors, and start walking over to the restaurant. I call out to the guy like halfway across the parking lot, asking if they were indeed open for business. Again, the guy doesn't react. He just keeps staring at me in a way that I now notice is distinctly unwelcoming. Something in my gut just told me to stop walking. I had this creeping feeling all over my body, like something was telling me that something was horribly wrong with this whole setup. And no sooner had I started feeling distinctly vulnerable than the guy reached behind his back, pulls something out of his back pocket, and puts it on his head. I thought it was like a woolly hat at first, but then he pulls it down. It's like a balaclava. And then I notice something else in his hand, a small revolver. I turn and start running back towards the truck, and as I do, I see a few other guys emerging from the derelict units, each running towards my truck to try and cut me off. Each had some kind of weapon in their hand, be it a knife of an iron bar. Shit. Just wanted some country fried chicken. You're next on the menu, boy. Yeah. Confucius says, man who stand on toilet is high on pot. Funnily enough, I have a picture of Confucius, like, framed in my room. Because I remember when I first moved in, I was trying to, like, decorate and went to this, like, old antique store that sells shit for pretty cheap or whatever, and just found this cool, like, drawing of Confucius reading a book that was framed, and I was like, that's pretty sweet. You got a pretty mouth, boy. Yes, sir. All we got on this menu is Burger King foot lettuce. Did you ever watch Chills and his top 15 countdowns? He's one of my favorite YouTubers, along with Let's Read. Each had some kind of weapon in their hand, be it a knife or an iron bar, and seeing those just made me run even faster. Thank God I'd gotten that gut feeling when I did, otherwise they'd have definitely made it to my truck before I did. I threw the door open, jumped inside, and locked the cab behind me, trembling as I rummaged in my pocket for the keys. The bandits surrounding the cab of my truck, hitting the chassis... Chassis? Is it chassis? Is chassis here today? Or chassis?
Chassis.
Chassis, yeah. The base frame of a motor vehicle or other wheeled conveyance. That'd be funny, name your kid Chassis. I love trucks so much I named her Chassis. The bandits surrounded the cab of my truck, hitting the chassis with their weapons, demanding I get out. Then the guy with the gun aimed that thing right at my face through the windshield, screaming me for... Then the guy with the gun aimed that thing right at my face through the windshield, screaming for me to get out of the truck. I had no choice but to do what I did. I gunned the engine and plowed the whole bunch of them, knocking down those that didn't jump out of the way in time. I leaned down in my seat as I gripped the wheel, out of pure instinct really, and again, I thank God that I did, because when I hit the guy with the gun, he let loose a single shot that shattered the windshield and struck the seat just above my head. I circled around the parking lot, expecting the next shot to come at any moment. I circled around the parking lot, expecting the next shot to come at any moment, but only the bandits that had gotten out of the way of my initial truck charge were chasing me. 2 or 3 were just lying on the concrete, rolling around in pain whilst holding onto their limbs. I think that's about the only thing that saved me, having the presence of mind to just ram them instead of trying to reverse out of there. If that had been my choice, I might not be around to tell you all this. I got out of that parking lot, speeding off blindly in the direction I could. Yeah, one lethal weapon against another, that's fair. A lot of people, like, in these stories sometimes don't just run people over, but I feel like if someone's got you fucking pinned down, you just gotta say fuck it and go right into them, you know what I mean? Know what I'm saying? I got out of that parking lot, speeding off blindly in the first direction I could, until I found somewhere to safely park up and call the cops. The sheriff's deputy I spoke to told me to swing on by the department when I was next able to so I could give a statement, and I did so, but not until I actually managed to get myself some lunch, as not even the terror of almost getting hijacked could dull my appetite. I guess that makes me sound pretty fat or whatever, but you guys need to appreciate just how hungry I was. Down at the department, however, I learned that I was not the first truck driver to have run into these bandits, how I'd been just unlucky enough to ask directions from one of their kinfolk who had directed me to the rundown strip mall just before calling his buddies to let them know I'd be there. At least, that's the only conclusion we came to once I described the guy I'd asked directions from. The deputy just seemed to nod knowingly when I related this guy's physical description. I guess I'm just warning you guys to be very, very careful when you're out on the roads. And although it seems like some tired old cautionary tale from your Facebook posting aunt, be careful when you're talking to strangers. There's no way of knowing just who they really are. I bet Joel can't pronounce my name right. Oh, Bianca. Yeah, Bianca. Bianca Romo. Bianca Romo. These trucking stories are interesting. Try to find a Cracker Barrel. Do a Cracker Barrel roll. Revelation. Did you ever read Revelation, Dank? Because it makes no sense. It does make some sense, but it's like so... A lot of people pretend like the entirety of Revelation is like talking about the end of the world. There's some parts, but a lot of it is... a lot of it's like just jumping around in time, you know what I mean? Like some of the stuff that's already been covered within the Bible, the Bible. Everybody's quoting some Bible ass shit. But I don't know. I mean, I've read through it and it's like freaking all over the dang place. Crystal Holly? People mispronounce, or is it Crystal? Crystal. The Book of Enoch. Yeah, the Book of Enoch is more interesting to me. I know it's not like common canon. I think the Book of Enoch is like in the what the fuck is it called? The like Ethiopian Bible or something like that. But it's really interesting to me because it like talks about like, you know, the Watchers or like these sort of angelic creatures that come to Earth and like give mankind certain things, like, you know, I don't know if they teach them masonry, but they teach them how to like chart the stars. They teach them how to fucking like make swords. They teach them how to do various other things. And I'm like, the Book of Daddy Joel. Yeah, there is a Book of Joel in the Bible. Can you pronounce my name, Joel? I just did, didn't I? Isn't it Bianca Romo? Did I get it wrong? The Apocrypha. Yeah, where's the Apocrypha? I forget. Or is that like additional stuff? Oh yes, gave birth to the giants, which is kind of interesting because I always found it like fascinating because you have ancient Greek, you know, lore and stuff like that. Sort of coincides a little bit with biblical stuff where they talk about the giants and the Nephilim because like, or I guess the giants were the Nephilim or some shit, where essentially the sons of man, which would be like, or the sons of God, which I don't know, the translation's weird, but it's essentially like angelic beings, like coming from, like leaving the whatever heavenly realm or something, and then manifesting themselves in some sort of physical presence here on Earth, and then having sex with human women, but then creating offspring that are half like, you know, half man, half God, essentially, which is very similar to like Hercules, you know what I mean? Like the mythology there. So I just thought that was interesting, like that there's a little bit of a crossover, and like, you know, the giants, I guess technically could be like the Titans because the gods kind of lose control of the Titans because they're just like so fucking badass. But when angels boink the humans, ooh woo. Alright, anyways, this is the last story. Jercules. Now, yeah, the Bible is confusing as hell. I mean, I think it's annoying sometimes because, like, I have told you guys this before, but I grew up going to church and, you know, only recently stopped kind of, like, going. But it's mainly because it's just, like, so hard. It's so fucking hard to keep up with, you know? Just a hard fucking thing to do, you know what I mean? Like, it's confusing. You study it. You never really feel like you're objectively, like, moving forward, you know? But at the same time, I see its like benefits. Like objectively, I see its benefits for people's life, giving them direction, giving them hope, giving them, you know, various sets of morals that they feel like they have to hold themselves to, which I'm not saying, you know, people that don't believe in it don't have those, but to a degree, I would say, like, especially for young kids, you know, it might help them, like, not do some mistakes that otherwise they might fall into other, you know what I mean? I'm just saying that it is helpful, but I'm saying at the same time, for as helpful as it is, it's confusing as shit, and it can be really, really strainful on people's like psyches to just like constantly like compare their life to what is sort of expected of them, because it's like just, I don't know. It's just weird shit. And I feel like all the questions that I had on it, you know what I mean, like never could be answered. But like, you ask the questions, and it's not that I get shamed or anything for asking the questions. It's just that like, it's very cyclical reasoning, you know what I mean? It's just, and to me, it's frustrating because I feel as if those individuals that I interact with that study it, that really care about it, are intelligent enough to like really figure out those answers if they worked as a team to dig into it. But it's almost as if though they would rather just sort of like continue to exist in the moment of their belief and their faith, that rather than like challenging their faith, I guess you could say, to like learn something even deeper and then bring that knowledge to other people, since they themselves are like the authorities within those communities. They just kind of like would rather to just sort of perpetuate whatever the community like culture is, instead of like strengthening the foundation of others' understanding, because that's always going to be the hardest part, I imagine, in any faith really, is like is like having a foundation to it. Otherwise, like as soon as the hard questions start popping in your head and people kind of like not necessarily push you to not ask those, but don't really have the solid answers for it, it almost like validates your questions on it being not truthful, you know? But at the same time, I'm not gonna be one here to sit here and say that I know anything, because I don't know shit. Understand that first and foremost, is that like, you know, I can recognize patterns, you know what I mean? I can like identify objectively how to be successful at different things. But when it comes to understanding the nature of reality, you know, I'm just as curious as you are. Yeah, and like organized religion can make you feel really shitty, you know what I mean? It can make you feel really, really like, Dank, I appreciate your input, and that's all I can really say, you know what I mean? I appreciate it, and by all the lines that you speak, it's like I've heard them 1,000 times, you know, and it's definitely, the effort has been put there. You know what I mean? And a lot of people here have probably put the effort in too. It's just, I don't know, people that try to like pound religion into your head over and over again, it gets old, because it's like, they're just words, you know, essentially, to people that don't experience it. Or like, maybe you've had an experience, how do I look? You know, like a guy who was a skeleton man wearing a green suit in space. Orginized religion, yeah. Or I don't know. I don't mean to like ruminate on these things, because I guarantee you we're not going to come to a conclusion on any of it, you know what I mean? And yeah, you're going to get a lot of interpretations. You're going to get people that say you're going to hell for jerking off. You're going to get people that tell you that like God forgives you for all of it. You're going to get people that tell you that's, you know, Cthulhu is coming back and he will bring complete chaos and insanity. Joel voice in my ears. Yeah. Flying spaghetti monster. It's like, I know that it's more than that. And as much as like I get frustrated with organized religion, I also get frustrated with like your typical like meme, you know, edgy teen atheist character who just kind of like shits on religion, because it's like, when you're a human being, you have questions and you're curious and you want to seek truth, and I suggest everyone to to dig into it all, dig as far as you can and find your truth, you know what I mean? Like, it's just that understand at the same time that it's not going to be easy. It's, it's not going to be easy where you end up, but, don't destroy yourself in the process, I guess. Well, Dank, I maybe you can. I think it's probably better to talk about that stuff privately. Maybe in the Discord server, you could come join and hang out, because just kind of saying like really open statements about it, objectively, right? Like saying something is bullshit and one thing is evidence and truth, without providing the evidence and truth. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that one is right or the other, because I'm not. It's just that you have to understand in the process of argumentation, the cyclical line of reasoning where you say something is true because it says so is not going to change anybody's mind. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that because out of an aggressive perspective. I'm saying it in the perspective of like just, basic communication with somebody. You know what I mean? Like if someone came up to me every day and said that there's, a blue tiger out there in them there hills, and you know that there's a blue tiger up in them there hills, and I never seen that blue them there tiger, you know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to know if that them there blue them tiger exists, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Bronzy, thank you. God Zorp the Surveyor to come down from the heavens. Sell cards for membership for his cult in the merch store. It was my favorite show as a kid in the 90s. Oh, yeah. I definitely loved Hey Arnold and Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z was the shit. No, yeah. And Dank, I appreciate you putting it out there, and I understand within the context of Christianity, it's very prudent for Christians to tell everyone about the Lord, and the Lord cometh. I understand that's very important to Christians, but understand that within the context of a live stream chat, you're probably not going to generate any converts. You know what I mean? So if you want to have that conversation, I'd say chit chat. Don't disturb people in the Discord, but if anybody's interested, you can have that privately elsewhere. You know what I mean? Anyways, we're going to read this last story here, guys. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate 1,100 of you sticking around. This is pretty... Yeah, SpongeBob was the shit, yeah. I drive trucks for a living here in England. It was one of the only jobs I could pretty much just walk into after being medically discharged from the Army. The Royal Logistics Corps, to be specific, with some pretty intense back problems. I'd tried physiotherapy, yoga, acupuncture, all sorts of things, but sitting in the cab of a military truck for such long periods had really done a number on my spine. It was horrible that I was basically forced in the same line of work, only in the civilian world, and I had no choice but to take a daily regimen of pretty strong pain medication just to make it through the days and nights of long-distance truck driving. But that's neither here nor there, I suppose. Sorry, I don't know why my microphone, I just feel like it's like out of alignment here. Do you ever sit in front of a live stream audience while recording stories and feel like your microphone's out of alignment in front of your face? I get that way a lot. In the name of the moon. You want a Luna tattoo? Honestly, sometimes I'm surprised that our culture, I'm surprised more people don't worship like the sun. I know that sounds strange, but I'm surprised more of them I guess it's easier to be enamored by a human, a relatable human character than it is an ambiguous all-encompassing, plasma ball in space or whatever like that. But I don't know. I'm surprised some of them, some people aren't into that kind of stuff. Yeah, so like, yeah, I read the stories now and I'm recording them and then I'll edit them later and then put them out on the YouTube channel. First on Patreon, you know, and then up on the YouTubes today, actually, at 7 p.m. So it's a Friday. Wait, is it Friday? Yeah, it's Friday. Jesus. I'm always like afraid that I got my days mixed up. Check out the Babylon. I mean, like in the modern sense. Like there's nobody, like who's into the Babylon religion here in the Western culture? You know what I mean? Nobody's, you worship muscles. That's true, Fry. So much so they sacrificed children that it would rain if it was a drought. Yeah, that's a true thing. But it's interesting that it's not common now, you know, and it makes you wonder. I could see like a horror movie being made where there's still like modern day sun worshippers and stuff like that. That would be kind of cool, going down to like some of like the Mayan jungles or something and coming across people that are still into that kind of shit. Rocket Power was sick. I fucking love that show. I knew I was a shooby. Alright. It was horrible that I was basically forced into the same line of work, only in the civilian world, and I had no choice but to take a daily regimen of pretty strong pain medications just to make it through the days and nights of long-distance truck driving. But that's neither here nor there, I suppose. I'd only been working for the company I'm at presently for about 6 or 7 months when I was driving down this lonely stretch of road just outside of Rotherham in South Yorkshire. Fuck, I have to figure out how to say this. The earth is flat. The goddamn earth is flat, I'll tell you what. Wait, okay. Is it Rotherham? Rotherham? Any UKers here? Oh. Wait. Definition fergalicious.
Rotherham.
That doesn't sound right. The fuck? Any British pronunciation?
Rotherham.
Rotherham. Scoozy. Rotherham in South Yorkshire. Isn't it Yorkshire rather than Shire? Thanks, Poseidon. Okay. Rotherham and Yorkshire. Wait. I can't. I was trying to like use the Wikipedia page to discern it, but I just need like a full-on definition.
Yorkshire.
Alpha, nice. Thanks for sending a story, and I appreciate it. What are we doing tonight, Dwayne? Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world. Dwayne? Hey, Dwayne. Yorkshire. Rotherham. How the fuck do they say it? Rotherham. Is it Rother? Rotherham. I'd only been working for the company I'm at presently for about 6 or 7 months when I was driving down this lonely stretch of road just outside of Rotherham in South Yorkshire. There, I see this young woman at the side of the road, bags in hand, with her thumb out like she was looking to hitchhike. It's not like I don't see a few good... Okay, Yorkshire. I'm gonna have to do that again. God damn it. Yorkshire... Roswell? Did anyone know how to say Rotherham? Rotherham? Okay, Yorkshire. I see that. Yes, yes, yes. Pinky and the Blaine. But how to say Rotherham? Fucking don't know, dude. This shit's awkward.
Rotherham.
Rotherham. Okay. Yorkshire and Rotherham. Sorry. I've only been Sometimes I start a sentence and I like just Rotherham. Okay, Rotherham. Thank you. I'd only been working for the company I'm at presently for about 6 or 7 months when I was driving down this lonely stretch of road just outside of Rotherham in South Yorkshire. There I see this young woman at the side of the road, bags in hand, with her thumb out like she was looking to hitchhike. It's not like I don't see a few good hitchhikers on my routes. There's much more common than you might expect, especially during the summer months when people can afford to be standing at the side of the road, sometimes for hours at a time, waiting for lifts. I never normally stop for them. I've seen enough horror movies to know that you're inviting trouble on yourself if you just let a total stranger into your truck for long distances. But there was something about this girl that actually had me slowing down and stopping at the roadside for her. I don't know if it was how young she was or how desperate she looked, and she definitely didn't look like the kind of scruffy hippie types or dodgy cardboard sign holders that I normally see standing out there. So, there I was, actually opening up my cab door and helping her climb inside. I asked her where she was looking to go, only to have her reply something like, "Anywhere, just drive." This bothered me a bit, I'll be honest, as I didn't really like the idea of having someone just sat in the passenger seat for the foreseeable future. I'm not exactly the most sociable person, and awkward silences are annoying for me at the best of times, let alone when it's some girl that's half my age. God knows what people would think if they saw that I was stopping for random girls, probably that I was some sort of perv or whatever. So I asked her again, only rephrasing the question so that I make it clear that I can't just have her sitting in my truck for the foreseeable future, as I'd be looking for somewhere to stay overnight at some point. I know it sounds a bit mean, and I didn't want to have to properly look after this girl, paying for her food, paying for a hotel room and all that. I'd never picked up a hitchhiker before, but they're usually set on a certain place that you can just drop them off, right? So, after a bit of an awkward silence, and I made it clear that I loathe those, I asked her why she was on the road. She didn't give much to... Sorry, that's... You miss good cartoons? I know. Probably just miss being a kid. Because honestly, I watched, like... Whenever I was on a trip and my buddy brought his kids with him, they were watching fucking... Just that stupid Elsa Spider-Man bullshit on YouTube, you know what I mean? And it's just like, God, kids just watch fucking anything. Like, they'll watch other kids open toys. You know, they'll watch kids... I don't know, they'll just watch nothing with production value in it, you know? And I'm like, I wonder what kids are gonna, like, look back upon, you know, those type of fucking weird-ass, like, low-effort shows from YouTubers and stuff, and, you know, with nostalgia. I never picked up a hitchhiker before, but they're usually set on a certain place that you can just drop them off there, right? And after a bit of awkward silence, and I made it clear that I loathe those, I asked her why she was on the road. She didn't give too much away in the way of specifics, just that she was having trouble at home and needed to get away. I asked if it was a fight with her parents, or a boyfriend, or something, and that maybe she shouldn't just run away from her problems, but go back and fix whatever it was, you know, like address the issue or whatever instead of just straight up avoiding it. But she immediately took issue with the fact that I'd asked after a potential boyfriend, saying that she'd get out immediately if I had any funny ideas about where this was going. That made the whole thing feel even more awkward, and I reassured her that I did in fact have a long-term girlfriend at home, and that I certainly wasn't in the habit of picking up young girls from the side of the road. I'm basically explaining that I'm not a perv when I see a police car pass us on the road. Nothing unusual, so it barely registers other than for me to make sure I'm not over the speed limit or anything. You know, the usual I just saw police car anxieties. But a moment later, I hear sirens behind me. Looking into the rear view to see what appeared to be the very same car, having turned around to follow me with a view to pulling me over. I groaned, saying something about hoping my brake lights aren't out, something along those lines, and slowly began to pull my truck over to the side of the road. This is right when the girl in the passenger seat freaks out and starts pleading with me not to pull over. I mean, not just pleading, she's begging, obviously getting really panicked at the idea of the police seeing her. Now this made me feel really bloody nervous. What had she done that made her nervous around the police, and how would that reflect on me? Oh yeah, please do not put your social media or other stuff in the chat because it will just block it. If you want to exchange social medias with people, just, yeah, do it in Discord or something instead. Now this made me feel really bloody nervous. What had she done that made her nervous around the police, and how would that reflect on me if I was caught with her in the cab of my truck? These questions are whirling around my head as I tell her to calm down and that I had absolutely no other choice than to pull over, that I was hardly about to get into a high-speed police pursuit on account of a complete stranger. She bursts into tears at that point, just sinking her head into her hands and weeping, but she doesn't try to run away, nothing like that, so that sort of reassured me that she hadn't committed some sort of violent crime, or at least she wasn't some hardened criminal on the run from the law. I watched the policeman that had pulled me over get out of his car and walk up to the side of the truck, which also happened to be the side that the girl is sat on. As soon as he looks through the window, I hear him say something like, "Get out of the truck, Natalie." This obviously had taken me aback. Who was this girl that the police were on bloody first-name terms with her? She's crying and sobbing, but looks up and screams, "No," through the glass. The policeman motions for me to wind down my window, and I actually hesitate for a moment. The girl, this Natalie, is obviously terrified of being arrested or whatever was about to happen. The policeman then says something over his radio, something I didn't catch because of the glass in the way, so in order to better hear what he's saying, I start winding down the window. It was too late to hear what he said on the radio, but I did hear what he said next. "Your parents called again, Natalie. They're tired of you running away like this, and quite frankly, I'm tired of having to come and fetch you every time this happens." I suppose I knew all I needed to from what he just said then, but I looked on in a kind of grim fascination as what unfolded next. "They're not my parents. Why won't any of you understand that?" The girl started to scream. "Every time you drag me back there, they do worse and worse things to me and call it punishment. They say it's for my own good, but it's not. It's not at all." She then turns to me, pulling her sleeve and showing me all kinds of burns and scars up her arm, ones that were so pronounced and gross that I recoiled in disgust and horror. "Please, I'm begging you, don't let them take me back. I'll do anything. Just please don't let them take me again." What was I supposed to do? Drive off? Drive off? Drive off? "Bounce your ass out of my truck, Natalie." Okay. What was I supposed to do? Drive off with this girl and get chased by the police? She could have been mentally ill or something, severely delusional with a self-harm problem, and I'm just going to drive her off into the middle of nowhere so she can run away from her care home or something? Besides, I was terrified, absolutely terrified. Police backup arrived, and when there was enough of them, they dragged the girl out of the truck, kicking and screaming before they threw her in the back of a police car and drove away. I tried to ask one of the police what had just happened, and I expected to get an answer along the lines of one of my previous suspicions, but they actually just waved me away, told me it was none of my business and that I shouldn't have been picking up young women from the side of the road anyway. I still don't know what happened to that girl, and I hope she's gotten the treatment she needs. But part of me wonders if I'd help prolong some horrible cycle of abuse, one in which the actual police were complicit. Like button, baby. Well, guys, this stream was substantially shorter than the one we did before. But either way, I want to thank you for being here. I'm going to be reading the outro, and as all of y'all regulars know, I need you to think of something I can end on, such as, and remember. You can say whatever you want. Anthony, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, dude. I would say this length of the stream is usually pretty more common than the normal lengths, or is pretty more normal than the last one we did. Thanks, Maricela. Groaning ASMR. Sometimes it's weird taking in like so many messages at one time, because you're getting like 1,000 different people's brains and what their thoughts are and what they're thinking, and you know, it's weird, but it's cool, and I appreciate you guys. But let me read this outro real quick. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/letsreadofficial, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. And remember, don't let the bed bugs suck your toes. Always stay hungry. And yes, join the Discord. Lila has linked that there, my dudes and dudettes. I like that ending. Sucking of the toes by the bed bugs. Sleep tight. Wait, oh, and remember, sleep tight and don't let the bed. Good night, sleep tight. I'll say that, yeah. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, good night, sleep tight, and don't let the bed bugs suck your toes. There we go. There we go. We got her. We got her. Ladies and gentlemen, we got her. Thank you guys for being amazing. It's cool to see like a lot more people in the stream on a regular basis now, you know. It seems like, I don't know, maybe we're building up some sort of like YouTube streaming meter where you're like a trusted source of streamage. But yeah, this will be out first on Patreon. It's just $1 over there. That's linked in the description below if you want to support. Just $1 a month, get early access, and you can download the MP3, take it wherever you want for offline usage. Wink, wink. And follow me on Twitter. Probably the best place to follow me for updates if you don't get notified from the bell on YouTube. At Let's Read Creepy on Twitter, at Let's Read.official on Instagram. Follow my meme page, Horny Computer, for some memeage, hardcore memeage. Always pretty much updating that daily. It's a fun time. And yeah, hit the like button on your way out. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being awesome. One day I'll be more popular than Dr. Disrespect. I highly doubt that, but maybe we'll get to collab. Maybe he listens to me to fall asleep. Maybe my voice helps Dr. Disrespect with his anxieties when missing all of his sniping shots. All right, dudes. Steve Harrington with the 2 says, good night, Joel. Good night, Steve. Thank you so much for that. See you guys on the way out. Much love to you. Stay safe tonight. Come join the Discord if you want to do a little bit of an after-party hangout. Everybody's always chilling in there, having a little bit of a chat. You get to know everyone a little bit more if you'd like, and make some internet friends. Always a good thing. Leave your drama at the door. We don't have time for that. You feel me? You feel me, dog? All right, guys. Love you. Stay oh so well. And I'll see you again soon.